Chapter 4, Section 2. We're going to learn about patterns and linear functions. A pattern would be if we find an order of numbers that consistently go up by the same amount, or they form a pattern of as they increase. Let's take a look at these different shapes. We got shape 1. I'm going to put 1 in there. Shape 1 has a perimeter of 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, or 20. If we look down at our table, we're going to create a table down here. Look at our table, we see that shape 1 has a perimeter of 20. Let's take a look at shape 2. Shape 2 means we have, wrong place. Shape 2 means we have 2 boxes, and we have a perimeter of 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which equals 30. Look at 2 boxes, we have a perimeter of 30. We can go on and look at 3 boxes with a perimeter of 40, 4 boxes with a perimeter of 50, and 5 boxes with a perimeter of 60. If you notice, we've created a pattern. Our pattern in this case means that we have increased from 1 box to 2 boxes, we've increased by 10. We've gone from 2 boxes to 3 boxes, increased by 10 again, and so forth and so on. So we're increasing by 10 each time. We've created a pattern with boxes. Let's move down a little bit, and we'll look at our table that we created of number of squares with a perimeter. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put these into ordered pairs. Ordered pair is always in the X, Y format. And if we look at our ordered pairs, we've got 1 and 20, so we can call this X, this Y, and put our ordered pair as 1 and 20. 1 and 20. We can look at the next one, 2 and 30, and put our next pair as 2, 30, and so on. So we come up with each one of our ordered pairs for what we've got in the table up here. Once we have our ordered pairs, we can graph. Here's a graph that's been created. Now remember, this line going up here is my Y. This line going across here is my X. So if we use our ordered pairs and put in 1 and up to 20, which is this one right here, we can put our dot right here. As we go up, 2, 30, 3, 40, and so forth, we can graph our line. This is a linear line. A linear line means it's going straight. All right, so we're able to graph based on, let's step back for a second, based on looking at our shapes, here, determining our perimeter to get a table, and then we were able to create our ordered pairs. That's been the steps so far. The next step we're going to do is we're going to create an equation from this. Now if you look down at the bottom here, it says the equation is y equals 10x plus 10. How did they come about getting that? Well, remember here, we increased each time by 10. Increase by 10, increase by 10 each time. Okay? Every time we increase by 10, notice that our number of squares increased by 1. So we're going to write our equation. Y equals, it's increasing by 10 each time, And our x is going to be the number of boxes that we use. So we're going to say x is the number of squares, boxes, squares we use each time. But now, is this going to give us the right answer? Well, if we were going to, and what I mean by right answer, if I was going to put, let's say, 1 in for x, would we come up with 20 as our answer? Well, obviously no. 1 times 10 is 10. What are we off? We're off by a total of 10. How would I figure that out? Well, I put my 1 into my x. Take a look what my result is, and it's 20. Well, I'm off by 10. I can go 20 minus this 10 times 1, and we find out that we're off by 10. So what if I added 10 to this? In other words, that's what I'm off by, is a plus 10. Would it work then? Let's take our 2 and put it into the x. We would have y equals 10 times 2 plus 10, which would equal 20 plus 10, which would equal 30. And that matches up there. We're good so far. We don't know yet if this is going to be our final equation. Let's put 3 into this then. Y equals 10 times 3 plus 10, which would equal 30 plus 10, which would equal 40. Happens to be, that's our answer. That's our result. We can check the other ones, but I think we'd be pretty safe to say that if we have 3 in a row that meet this criteria, they all should meet the criteria. Okay? We can say that's our equation. So we can take a look at y equals 10x plus 10, which is the equation they came up with, as being the equation for this set of data here. Jump over to our problems. Let's take a look at these 2 problems. This will be your assignment. Now I want you to notice, in the first one, we're looking at box 1, and we're looking at a perimeter of 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, plus 6 is 15. So we can say here is 1 and 15. That is a 15, even though it doesn't look like a 15. All right? It's up to you now to figure out what each of these are. What you need to do, or each of adding the boxes, what's it going to be? I want you to write your ordered pairs in here. Here's where your ordered pairs. So we already had 1 and 15 in there. I want you to graph it. Here's your x. Here's your y. And remember, this is x, this is y. So we'd go 1 out to here, and we go up 15. If you put this in, let's say by 5, so this would be 5, 10, 15, then we would graph that point right there. Next, I want you to use words to describe your the relationship you see here. In other words, if you were going to describe to me what is happening in words, if you're going to talk to me and tell me how to do it, that's what I want you to write in here. And last, I want you to write the equation. I want you to go back and use this. Y equals, how much is it going up by? Multiply that number, whatever it is, by x, and then figure out what you have to add to it to make the equation. You need to do this for 1 and 2. All right, these 2 problems you need to work on. And then the last thing I want you to do is I want you to go into 4.4-2 vocabulary. Now, we haven't gone through and I haven't described to you what these all are. In other words, what's a dependent variable, what's a function, what's a geometric relationship. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to be resourceful. I want you to use the internet. I want you to Google this. Why do I want you to do that? Sometimes in class, you may not get all the information you need. Or sometimes in class you may see something that you're not quite sure what it is and you didn't ask. Or you understood it in class and then you got out of class and you didn't understand it again, or you just didn't know what it was. It didn't click. So you need to be able to be resourceful enough to go find the information that you need to be able to solve this problem. So what I want you to do is start using Google. And I want you to take these words and I want you to Google them. And then I want you to match these words up with these boxes that are here. There's 9 boxes. I want you to be able to match up what they're actually talking about. This is going to help you start learning to be resourceful for when you don't understand something, how you can go search it out and figure out what the correct answer is.